Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be looking into the Heritage Studies by BJU Press. This is for grade 4. We went ahead and picked up the parent-led package for this. Now we will be working through this study with our 4th grader. It's our first year ever using BJU and we're really excited. I've looked through this over and over and over again, printed things out, just trying to figure out how we are going to implement this curriculum. So I just wanted to share with you guys what this curriculum entails. Now there is a lot that can go into this curriculum, or you can pull things out. If you are used to my channel and you know how we homeschool, we do like a lot of information. So this pretty much fits our liking, you guys, in that way. But I know that there will be some things that we choose to take out because it is a very full curriculum. So I want to walk through with you guys, share with you guys what the inside of these books look like, how you implement the teacher's edition, and how you basically run the class. Now remember, keep in mind that this is just for our homeschool, and you definitely can pick and choose what you would like if this is something that you guys are interested in. So we just went ahead and picked up the full package for their Heritage Studies. Now this is going to be parent-led. We did not go with the video-led or streaming, so we will be teaching this class. So what comes in this package is this teacher's edition. So this will be the actual textbook that your kiddo will be reading on top of all of your teacher information. This is the next thing that came in the package, and this is going to be for your kiddo. So this is the textbook that they are going to be reading through. The next thing that we picked up is the activity manual. Now this is all the worksheets that go along with the textbook that your kiddo will work through. Now again, you guys, it's completely up to you if this is something that you guys want to purchase. You definitely do not have to, and I'll share with you guys why you don't have to. But if you guys are like us and you like a lot of meat and information and worksheets and things like that, then this is something that you may be interested in. Something to go along with that is the activity manual answer key. This is where you're going to find all of your teachers' answers. Another thing that we picked up was the tests. So we will be doing the tests, and then it came with the answer key. I do want to mention that in the back of your teacher's edition, you will find a CD-ROM in here. It's not in here because it's in my laptop still. I was printing everything out that we were going to need, but that does come in here with extra papers, and you can also do interactive things on that same CD-ROM. It came with something called the background information, so I went ahead and printed those out. It came with instructional aids. Also came with instructional aids answer key that goes along with that one. And then we have the visuals PDFs that I printed out. And I also printed out the rubrics. Now there are things in the CD-ROM that you cannot print out, so these are just the things that it allowed me to print out. You definitely do not have to print out all of these things. You can just pull up the CD-ROM while you're doing the lessons and have that all lined up for you guys. But for us, we are paper type of people, and we love just having it in booklets. It makes it easier for us. It's something less that we have to like fiddle with or mess with trying to, you know, get the CD-ROM to upload or something like that. So we just like having it in front of us if we can. So now I'm just going to kind of share with you guys how we are going to, or how they have it lined up in their teacher book to help you along the way with your teaching. Okay, so getting started, I just wanted to let you guys know that this curriculum is 173 lessons. It has 18 chapters. And for each lesson, there's about 8 to 9 lessons per chapter. So at the end of each chapter, you're going to have a test that you give your kiddo. And so looking at this with 173 lessons, you guys, in your year, it looks like you would have to do 5 days a week, unless you cut back on certain things and you want to read more throughout the text and do less busy work. So that's completely up to you guys. You guys don't have to do tests. You guys can skip on some of the worksheets or visuals, anything like that. You guys can, you know, alter it the way that you guys would like to. So another thing with this book includes Bible, citizenship, culture, economics, geography, government, and history. So it is packed full of all of those things for your lessons. Now with your teacher's key, I'm going to kind of go over it with you guys real quick before we look into other books or into the other books. Starting off, you guys have your contents here. Talks a little bit about heritage studies from a Christian worldview. And then it kind of explains each one of the books that come along with this. And I'll go over that with you guys as we flip through the books. This is just a breakdown that explains it to you guys more so that you understand what the different parts of the spread for your teacher manual is. Now starting here, this is the lesson plan overview. So basically these are broken down per chapter. So this is all of chapter 1, Justice and the Fear of God. You're going to see your lesson number here. It's going to tell you what pages in your teacher's edition you'll be going through, what pages your student will be reading through, the activity manual sheets that they'll need. And then this is just content, objectives, and Christian worldview that you guys can go over before you guys do the lesson. So this goes all the way through to chapter 18. So I'm just going to skip over this, you guys. So you can see here it ends at chapter 18, and then it's going to start with chapter 1. Okay, so looking on this side, we have chapter 1. This is the introduction. So you're going to want to read over this before you even get started reading in chapter 1 in the book. So this is just going to be an introduction to chapter 1. Down here, you're going to see that chapter focus. This is exactly what is written in their book here. And then this is your chapter 1 overview. This is basically what you saw here. The only thing that I see different is that you have vocabulary words here. Now, what's really cool is in their textbook, in the very back, they're going to have a glossary. So when you want them to look up employer, they're going to find it in here and they can go over it with you here so that they learn any words that they're kind of unsure about. Now moving aside from starting off the new chapter, on this side you're going to see it starts lesson 1. So this is the page that you are going to refer to when you're working through lesson 1. So here it says lesson 1 student text pages 2 to 5. So those are the pages that the kiddo is going to need in this book. And then it tells you that they're going to be using page 1 and 2 in their activity manual. Now their activity manual is this here, and this is basically where all of their little worksheets are. Again, you can use this, you don't have to, you can use it sometimes. However you guys want to run your homeschool class is up to you, but it does give you the guide in what you should be using with the lesson or what you could be using with the lesson. So basically both of these pages here are suggested for lesson 1. So moving on, it says lesson focus. You're going to read this, okay? So when a ruler loves God and loves others, he will be a great blessing to those he rules. So the objectives here are to analyze what God's word says about rulers in 2 Samuel 23, 3 through 4. So you're definitely going to want to read through that with them. And then you guys are going to want to go over identifying the characteristics of a just ruler, and then explain the meaning of the fear of God. Moving on from that, you can notice also that when it moves on, you're going to see the blue writing. So it says Teacher's Toolkit CD. That's the CD you find at the back of this book here. And I've already printed out all of our instructional aid sheets. So let me show you guys that. So it says Instructional Aid 1, a just ruler. This is our instructional aid. So this is a just ruler. This is what they want them to fill out after going over this with them. Now again, this is something you can choose to do or you don't have to do it. I also went ahead and printed out the instructional aids answer key. So basically, here are all of the answers for this sheet here. So we are already set to go with all of this. Like I said, I think I said it already, but some of these aids that are on your CD you can't print out. They're like interactive, so you can't print those ones out, unfortunately. But I did print out anything that I could just to kind of have it ready for us. Okay, so moving on, here's your introduction. So the introduction here is just going to kind of break down what the steps are to get through this lesson. So direct attention to the chapter title. Invite a student to read aloud the title of the chapter and predict what the chapter will be about. Anytime you see the pink writing here, that's basically the answers that your kiddos should be giving you. Here, when you see this little mark, the gear, it shows you in this yellow little tag. The gear indicates a higher order question. These questions are based on information gathered from the text, but require some analysis, synthesis, or evaluation of the text. Supply any prompts or backgrounds as needed to guide the students to the answer. So basically, what do you think the word justice means? So answers could include doing what is right, giving everyone what he deserves. So these are just things that you guys can talk over to make sure your kiddo is understanding it, to kind of go more in depth. And it just kind of walks through with you here. As you can see, the blue is the question, the pink is the answer. So preparation for reading, generate interest as you direct the students to read the title and examine the pictures on page 3 through 5. Guide pronunciation of any unfamiliar words in the lesson. So these are just kind of telling you what you can do to help your kiddo. It says to select one of the prepared rubrics from the teacher's toolkit CD or design a rubric to include your own chosen criteria. Now we went ahead and printed this out. Here's our rubrics from the CD. So it gives you this one here. So you're basically, this is your little guide that you can do and how you're going to grade them or give them points. Now you guys do not have to do this at all. I believe this is what they use for their school, but it is there if you guys want to use it. Okay, so teach for understanding. Point out that David was chosen by God to rule Israel and lead the nation of Israel in worshiping the true God. So these are just kind of things to go over to make sure your kiddo's understanding. More questions and answers. Moving on to the next page here. Both of these are going to be lesson 1 as well. More teaching for understanding. And then these are the next pages, obviously, that your kiddo is going to see in his book or her book that they're going to read through with you. I'm thinking that this goes with this page and this goes with this page, but don't quote me on that, you guys, okay? Just kind of double check for yourselves. Something else I wanted to point out here at the bottom, background. So I noticed when I was printing things out, I came across one that said background information. So here you guys can see background. So what I did was I went onto the CD-ROM and I printed out background information. It says that these sections are to clarify and enhance the lesson with information from the background sections. Now these do not touch on every single lesson. You'll see here that this is for lesson 3 and then it jumps to lesson 5. So I'm not sure if they added these later or what happened there, but these are added for certain lessons throughout this book. Activities here are optional activities that are provided in some lessons. So you will see here that some of these are more aimed for classrooms, okay? So some of them you guys won't be able to do or won't want to do, or you can kind of, you know, switch things up to make it work for your household. But again, this is the same thing, teaching for understanding the questions. And then it just kind of tells you what to do here. You have an activity manual page you need to do. Like I showed you in the activity manual book here for lesson 1, it tells you what's really cool is it has the lesson numbers here. So it tells you the pages that they're going to need to do there. It also has like role play here and cover art. So that's pretty cool. Those are just, you know, added activities that you guys can add to enhance your lessons. I just wanted to share with you guys something from lesson 2 that was not in lesson 1. Here it says display visual 1. So in this packet here, this was also printed out from the PDF. This is the visuals packet. So visual 1 would be this map. So they're just letting me know that this map would be helpful for this lesson here. So I went ahead and printed that out. Also, this is something that they also recommended for lesson 2. I think that these are pretty cool. They're really helpful for a supplement or enhancing your lesson. I really like that they give you this option. I think it's kind of cool. Sometimes it's easier for the kiddos to see things visually to understand it or more, you know what I mean? So I think that that's really cool. So basically this just walks through all of your lessons here. Let me go to where the lesson ends. You can see here lesson 8 is the last chapter in this lesson, and all it basically is your kiddo taking the test. So that's what they would do for lesson 8, is they would take their first test, which is in this packet here, and it would be this here, and I believe the back side as well. Yeah, it continues on to the back there. Again, you can use this or you could choose not to use this. This is the answer key here. So it has all the answers in this for you as the teacher. And then, so that's basically it in this book, I believe. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so I did want to point this out to you. Through lesson 171 through 173, that's when they're going to be working on a state and territory report. And I'll kind of show you when they start getting into reports in their textbook. But real quick, this is the appendix in the back of your teacher manual. It has Bible action truths, Bible promises, explaining the gospel. So this is all of your Bible action truths here that you can go over with your kiddo. Here's your Bible promises, explaining the gospel, just in case your kiddos aren't sure or if you want to go over it with them again. And then it just goes into the index and, you know, all that fun stuff. How to use the teacher's toolkit, breaks it down for you here. Let me know if you guys have any questions, or I don't know, you guys have to tell me something about this that maybe I missed. That would be awesome. So here is the student book that they're going to be reading through again. Now, the beginning of this book is going to start with a review of the U.S. history from the first Americans to the end of the Civil War. Then it will cover Reconstruction all the way through World War II. And then at the end of the book, it'll cover the U.S. regions and the territories. So basically, let me just kind of share with you guys. The first page here is just your contents. Just going to go through the different chapters and the resource treasury that they have in the book here. A little note to the student, and then it starts with chapter 1 here. Now you will see that reading through their textbook, it does not share with them what lesson is what pages or anything like that. You will just find that in your teacher manual. It'll just walk through their chapters with them. But you will see that it has their focus here, the timeline. What's kind of cool is it has these little questions here. What are 2 things that identify a good ruler? They're going to have photographs or illustrations, and then this here is a verse through Exodus 20:12. They use the KJV, and then they have illustrations, maps, goes through the different lessons here. Again, you have your questions here. I'll share with you guys the first 2 chapters of the book just so that you guys can see what it looks like, how they have the layout. If you guys want to see a full flip through of any of these books, just let me know and I will go ahead and do that for you guys. So leave me a comment down below. Here it just tells them that they're going to have an activity, making a timeline. And then this is where chapter 2 starts. Again, it has your timeline, the title, the focus, and then it just jumps right in. You'll see that they have these bold words here. Those words you can actually have them find in the back of the book in their glossary. Let me make sure. Yeah, Friedman right there. So anytime you see the bold lettering or the bold words, you can have them look them up so they know exactly what they're talking about. then here's an activity. And then it goes into lesson 3 or chapter 3. So that's basically how this book works. Now in the back, you'll see that this is the resource treasury. So here you will find the World Atlas, the United States political, the United States regions, the GeoGloss, your gazetteer, biographical dictionary. I'm just going to skip. And then your glossary. And then there is an index back here, I believe, as well. Yeah, here's your index. So that's basically what comes in their textbook. Here is their activity manual. In here, you're going to see that it enriches lessons with a wide variety of worksheets like mapping, timelines, multiple choice questions, compare and contrast, and chapter reviews. So basically, it shows the contents again here, and then it jumps right into their worksheets. So down here at the bottom, you are going to see lesson 1, and then it just tells them what this goes with in their textbook. So pages 2 to 5. So this is lesson 1. Lesson 1, this is their study skill, and then they have their map study for lesson 2. I'm just going to flip through a little bit with you guys. I have cause and effect here. Mapping, just a little study guide with some multiple choice. Stuff about the Constitution, Electoral College for the elections here. We have a timeline, chapter review. We have a crossword here for a historic site, so they'll read through this and then they'll figure out the crossword puzzle from those questions there. Here's using the glossary to define terms. Amendments organizer. You're going to be drawing, showing something you have learned about in this chapter. This is all about political cartoon. Oh, I think it says who to draw. Let's see. Draw it in the style of Thomas Nast, used for his political cartoons. So lesson 14, I'm going to pull that up and see what that looks like, just to kind of share with you guys. I could find my book. Here it is. So what did it say? Lesson 14, page 45. Okay, so this must be one of his. Yes, Thomas Nast. So this is one of his cartoons. And this is his cartoon as well. So they want him to draw, or want them to draw something here in that type of style. So this is basically what this little workbook entails here. Again, this is the activity manual, and then you have your activity manual teacher key. This has all of your answers in it. You're going to find your answers in pink. Okay, I'm not going to flip through this because, you know, it's an answer key. So, but just know that you'll be able to, I mean, it's really easy. What else did I want to share with you guys? I wanted to share the visuals with you guys. So these are some of the visuals that you can get from your CD-ROM if you purchase the teacher book. So I'm not going to flip the pages for you, but I'll just let you guys see kind of what's in here. I should have done front and back, but I did not. That was my mistake. skip through a little bit of them. Okay, this is something I wanted to share with you guys. Let me see. Okay, I guess this is the first one. So this is preparing to write. It kind of gives them an outline of how to do their research report. Examples of how they can be taking their notes. And it goes back into some lessons. I'm just going to skip over this because I remember seeing more outlines on, yeah, here we go. Here's a sample research report that they're going to need to kind of look at to know how to do their research paper at the end of the year. This is how they're going to write it. Here's some steps that they can follow to do their research. This is a little outline of how to write a bibliography. Shows some tips and where to write everything, kind of like an outline. I thought that that was really cool to help them along the way. I think that's it. So for me, I think that you can get away with doing this history with just the textbook and the activity manual. Honestly, if you guys are not into busy work at all, I would say that you can just get through by doing the reading with your kiddo with just this and this, honestly. Because everything out of here with just these questions and answers, I think is good enough. There are some activities that you guys can probably find in here to do without buying all of the extras. Now, if you're like me, I feel like I want my kiddos to do worksheets to go along with it just to kind of enrich their lesson, but that's just me. So I definitely am going to be using the activity manual to go along with it. And the reason that we are doing tests is because in our state we do have to do report cards, and it's easier to do our report cards while having tests because we actually just go off of our tests for our averaging for our report cards. So that is why we are testing. Another thing that if you are more of just, you know, you don't need the busy work, I would say that if you had the teacher edition with the CD-ROM, I think it's super cool that you can print out these visuals. You know, it's not a lot of hands-on busy work. Well, none of this is hands-on busy work, but it's something that they can look at just to kind of enrich the lesson. I think that that would be really awesome to add to this if you were not doing any of these worksheets or tests. And for us, what we're probably going to do, we are definitely doing tests, like I said, for our report cards, and we will be using the visuals because I just love visuals. I think that's awesome. But we are going to go back and forth on the activity manual and the instructional aids, because say there's something in here that, oh, this looks okay, but the one for the same lesson in here looks more fun, or something that is something that our kiddos enjoy doing more. We would rather have them do something they're actually enjoying and that they'll take pride in and take their time on than just like, you know, a multiple choice. But for some of our kids, they actually like questions like this better than doing like fluff work. So honestly, you guys, this is something that you can just alter to your kiddos' liking, and you can just purchase individually if you need to. If you are going to use all of it, I would say buy the package deal because it's the cheapest way to go. But that is it, you guys. That is how we are using this BJU Heritage Studies for grade 4. I think it looks really great, and I'm super excited to be using this year. So I hope that you guys enjoyed hanging out with me. I hope that I explained it in a way that you guys can understand and that I'm not confusing you guys. But yeah, so that's it, you guys. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you have any questions, or let me know if there's something I missed, or maybe some way that you guys implement something that will work for us. So I hope to hear from you guys, and I hope to see you guys back on my channel very soon, you guys.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars,